Hello, welcome to FEP mock interviews. My name is Margot Purdy, and I'm the Career Events Internship and Co-op Coordinator for the University of Arkansas College of Engineering. And I want to thank both ArcPest and Hytrol for being our co-sponsors for this year's mock interview event. Mock interviews will take place the week of March 13th through 17th, and I'm here today to give you an overview of how the interviews will work and an introduction to using the virtual platform AirMeet. Interview format will flow like this. Each session is 30 minutes long. It's really important to stay within that 30-minute time frame because we have approximately 800 students that will be interviewing, and this is over five days. So to get everyone through and to stay on schedule, it's really, really important to stay within 30 minutes. That's hard to do when you're conducting an interview, especially if the interview is going really well. So this guide will help you stay within that time frame. After a brief introduction and completing the first 3 questions on the rating form, which is your name, the student/candidate's name, and the student's UARK email address, you're going to begin with the resume review. This is a very brief resume review, about 5 minutes. You have a guide of what you can kind of look for to keep it brief. Students are instructed to have their resume ready and open on their desktop so that they can easily and quickly share it with you when you're ready to do so. And then once you're done doing that quick review, you can tell them to stop sharing their screen, and then you can do the video chat for the interview questions part of the interview, which should take about 15 minutes. And then the last 5 minutes is spent providing feedback to the student. We highly encourage employers to fill out the interview rating form with the student present. This ensures that the feedback and the form are being submitted to the student and that the student will get their grade. If these forms are not submitted, the student does not receive credit, and this is a huge grade for them. It's required and it's a big grade. So remember to use the student's UARK email to ensure that they get credit, and this needs to be on the rating form. If the interview runs over 30 minutes, we will send you a direct chat. Either myself or Dr. Schluterman, he's the director of the FEP program, will send you a direct chat, or we'll join your table to let you know that you're running out of time and you need to wrap up. We suggest that employers set a timer and or use the interview questions guide I'm about to share with you to stay within that 30-minute time slot. So this is a guide to help you flow through the 30 minutes and get everything done that needs to be done. This is not the rating form. That's separate, and I'm going to go over that next. This is a guide that all of you will have in PDF format. So again, you're going to start with the brief introduction, getting their name and their UARK email address. You can start with the rating form by putting your name, and their email address. And then you can say, okay, go ahead and share your resume. And then these are the 5 things you kind of want to just quickly look for when you're looking at their resume. Does the resume make a strong first impression? Yes or no? Does it list an appropriate summary statement? Does it list engineering projects or any experience? And I will say these are first-year students, so the engineering projects probably won't be pretty heavy at this point. And does it show any student involvement or volunteer experience? And is it free of grammar and spelling mistakes? Once you've done that, you can move on to the next part. I will caution you that should you get a resume that needs a lot of work, and there will be some that you see that do, we have done a resume workshop with students. We have already seen some students to provide feedback. However, there are going to be those that either weren't at the workshop or they didn't pay attention or they just didn't spend the time on it. If you encounter that, please just encourage the student to reach out to their college career coach for further guidance. All you have to say is, you have a good starting point here with your resume, but you do need some work. So it might be best in the interest of time today that you make an appointment with your college career coach and work on this resume a little bit. and then move on. To the question section. We've given you 7 questions to kind of keep you in that time frame. You may or may not get to all of them depending on how in depth the student gets with their answers, but this gives you a guide. This is also why it might be a good idea to set a timer. And again, if you just kind of stay within this scope, it should help you a lot. Then the last 5 minutes will be spent providing that feedback to the student, filling out that rating form, and making sure that it gets submitted. Now, the rating form is going to be a Qualtrics link that is provided to you, and you'll use that same link over and over. The identifier for the student will be that student UARK email. The first thing that you'll put is your name, then the student's name, and then that student UARK email address. Then you're going to be asked to rate the student from 0 to 10, with 10 being the highest on communication skills, clarity of career goals, appearance and manner, how they answered the interview questions, and their overall performance. And then there's a question at the bottom that says, did the student show their resume, yes or no? This is the opportunity to let the professor know whether or not you had time to look at the issues. It's not that it's going to hugely impact their grade. It's just a way to let them know whether or not they had that part of the experience. And then there is a short answer section where you can provide some helpful suggestions and areas of improvement that they can make for future experiences. The red arrow on the bottom right, you click that and that submits the form. And once you hit submit, the student does receive an emailed copy of the rating form. We do have a late policy for our students, and this is not something that employers need to address, but we do want our employer volunteers to be aware of it because it can impact you in a capacity, and I'm going to explain that here in a minute. We will use the for determining punctuality at check-in. If a student is late by 1 to 5 minutes, the student will be allowed to check in and will be sent to their assigned interview table. If a student is 6 to 10 minutes late, they may reschedule for another date and time based on availability and will only receive half credit. If a student is 11 or more minutes late, they are considered a no-show and will not be permitted to interview or reschedule. It is important that employers remain at their assigned tables in case a candidate arrives within that 1 to 5 minute grace period. Should you need to take a break or step away, please wait until the 6+ minutes and be sure to return in time for the next interview. So here's an example. A student arrives 4 minutes late. You may need to forego the resume review or shorten the question section of the interview. That's your call as the interviewer in order to adhere to that 30-minute time slot. This is on the student. This is the consequence for being late. Their experience is going to be shortened, and how it's shortened is definitely up to the volunteer. And again, this is why it's important that employers remain at their table for at least 6 minutes past the start of an interview slot to ensure that a student doesn't arrive and get sent to your table, and then we're even further delayed because then we're trying to find you. So we just ask to keep things flowing, that you help us out by doing that. And again, you don't have to note anything if the student is late. We will note that at check-in. It'll be marked and it'll be sent to the professor. It's just really need you to remain available in case they hit that window. And we will talk to them about punctuality and how it's unprofessional to be late. They will be told that as well. And I just want to let you know that to register, there is a AirMeet links and guide document that you have all received. And these steps that I'm about to go over are in that document, along with all the links to AirMeet. This is a 5-day event, so there are 5 separate links, one for each day of the week for AirMeet. So if you are volunteering on multiple days, you will need the different links for each day that you're volunteering. You won't have to register each time. You only have to register once and then it'll let you in, but you will need the different links. So in that AirMeet links and guide document, it gives you a step-by-step instruction. And honestly, AirMeet is also pretty intuitive, but when you click on the link for the day that you want to register for, the first day that you're volunteering, there is a little purple button that says register for this AirMeet. You can use one of the following to register: an email address, LinkedIn, Google, Facebook, or Twitter. Just make sure that you write down whichever way you decide, whatever your login is going to be, that you write it down, and also make a note of your password. Because if you are volunteering on multiple days, or if you register early, like the week before, and then the week of you go to log in and you don't remember, you're going to be delayed trying to get a new registration and password set up. Upon sign up, you will then be prompted to confirm your details. I want all employer volunteers to please provide your full name, title, and company. With co-sponsors this year, company is going to be really important. That'll help the student. Select next and confirm all your details. If everything looks good, select continue and you're in. And again, make a note of your login and password to ensure you don't encounter any issues the day of the event. I'm going to show you what AirMeet looks like. I apologize in advance, but because I'm recording this in Teams, there is a little bit of lagging. And I'm going to go over some AirMeet tips, and having Teams or Zoom open is one of the issues that occurs. So here's your landing page. You hit enter event. Want to allow your microphone. You want to click allow camera, then join event. We're in. To show you how this is laid out, over here on the top right, if you click on people, this will have a grid full of squares of initials, possibly photos if they've uploaded a photo. And then you can hover to see who's who or meet at that time. Messaging, I can direct message anybody. You can direct message anybody in the event. To do that, you can hover over their square, and if there's more people in here, it'll give you the option to direct message them. I sometimes will send out a message to the entire event, just reminders. Students, go to the check-in desk first. Employers, please stay at your assigned table, that kind of thing. Or maybe that it's about to close. Sometimes there might be alerts over here. I could create a live announcement. I don't usually do that because it's interviews and I don't want to disturb people. But that's kind of what's going on over here on the top right. Social lounge, and I've already have every day set up to say students, go to the check-in desk first. Employers, join and stay at your assigned table. The scroll bar over here helps you move throughout the social lounge where all the tables are. This is where it lags a little bit because I have Teams open, but it shows you all the way. I have a lot of interview tables every day because we have a lot of students. I have some extra tables down at the bottom just in case. And then the consultation tables are for Dr. Schluterman and I to consult with students that show up who haven't signed up and can't interview, or they show up at the wrong day and time. That's always very sad. So we like to talk to them in private. So here are the check-in desks. We have two. The check-in desk to accommodate all the students that may be checking in. I will have the check-in desks, the waiting areas for overflow if they're waiting for the interview table to open up. You can come to the help-in desk if you have a quick question, you can also direct chat myself or Dr. Schluterman, but you just easily join the table by either clicking join or clicking on an empty seat. Or at interview table, if you're assigned to interview table 8, you can either click join or just click the seat. To turn your video on, and you'll want to turn your microphone on. When there's somebody else at the table, they'll be in the box next to you. The student will use this arrow box to share their screen. They'll click it to unshare. There is a chat feature in the box. If for some reason there's an audio issue, and you feel like the student can't hear you, you can type them a message. Can you hear me? To them. So it's pretty easy to use. It's pretty intuitive, and it's pretty easy to find what you're looking for. Leave table, you can click that X, or when I joined it, you can either click that top X or you can click leave down at the bottom to leave. And that's pretty much what AirMeet looks like when you're in it. I'm going to go over some technical tips to ensure you have a smooth experience. It can be temperamental. For example, you have to use a laptop or desktop computer for the best experience. AirMeet does not work on a cell phone or tablet, so please be mindful of that. Be sure to close Zoom, Teams, or any other conferencing tool prior to entering AirMeet. Leaving it open will cause camera and audio issues, and as you can see in my demo, it also can cause lagging. It won't do that if Teams is closed. It flows much smoother. AirMeet is best experienced on Chrome browser version 79 or higher. You can download it by going to google.com/Chrome. Other supported browsers, Firefox version 76 or higher, works just as well. Unsupported browsers that don't really work, and you'll end up having either camera, audio, or microphone issues, are Safari, Opera, and Microsoft Edge is terrible too. It doesn't work. So many students had microphone issues previous years trying to use that, so we just took it off as an option. You'll want to make sure that you enable your microphone and camera when prompted, like I showed you in the demo. And this is super important for all of our employer volunteers. If you are on an office laptop, make sure you disable the VPN and firewall settings. You will experience camera and audio issues if you don't. Make sure you have a stable and good internet connection. And another thing that we encountered last year is some HDMI connectors were causing audio issues and microphone issues. So if you know that your VPN and firewall settings are disabled and you're still having issues, it could be your HDMI cable. You may need to change that out or disconnect it. If the video feed is still not working, you can refresh your page and restart your browser. And if you do have to fix any issues with your HDMI cord or the VPN and firewall settings, sometimes you can make those changes, but then log all the way out and log back in and it'll be fixed. We sincerely thank you for volunteering your time and assisting our students in the first year engineering program. We are so excited. This is a really fun week. We really, really appreciate your time. Many thanks to all of the ArcBest and High-Trial volunteers. Again, my name is Margot Purdy. I will be at the event all week long, along with Dr. Heath Schluterman. You can direct message us when you're in the event. You can come to the help desk, and the TAs that are working the check-in help desks will find us for you if you have any issues. But we are looking forward to seeing all of you and working with you. And again, we just thank you. Thank you so much.